Okay, I've started
Okay.
recording.
Okay, I push OK.
So we'll start from the very basics. We know some bits, but we would like to start from everything from absolute point zero.
Right.
So yeah.
So you will be asking me questions, or should I give you some
Yes.
introductory speech?
Yes, we
No, we can do
prefer.
both.
Yeah.
Ask, keep
Yes.
keep ask, start asking questions.
Okay.
What do you know? What do you know about Manipur crisis?
So the basics we know is that there is a divide between two communities, mainly the Metis and the Kukizo, because
Right.
of the land issue. Because the Metis are 53% of the population approximately, but they have only 8% of the land. The Imphal Valley, that's it. While the hilly areas around it, they can't buy because they don't have the scheduled tribe status. That is what we know, and that is we know that the Metis want scheduled tribe status, but the Kukizo don't want to give up their lands.
That's fairly correct. What I'd like to you to I think you have not been to Manipur, right? You have not been to Manipur.
No.
So what you try to imagine yourself that you're watching a football game, okay? In the center there is a stadium, and around the stadium there are galleries. As you rightly said, that the Métis are concentrated in the plain area of Manipur. That's called Imphal Valley. Imphal Valley is basically around 10% of the area, total area. Manipur is about 22,000 square kilometer. Okay. So out of that, only 22,000 means 2,200 kilometer, 10% area in the valley. That's called Imphal area, which is fully congested, fully flooded with Métis. So Métis are, on the other hand, the population of Métis in Manipur is about 60%. Okay. So 60% of the population resides in 10% of the area in the middle of the stadium. On the north, please remember it's bordering with Nagaland on the north. So naturally there are some Nagas on the northern side of the Manipur hillside. Because basically, there are three major tribes in Manipur. One is the one is the Meitei, the majority tribe, and on the north, the Nagas are there, about 20% of the population, and on the south, that's what we call a Kukizo. Okay, Kukizo like another 20%. So you can imagine that the hills is sparsely populated, whereas the valley is thickly populated. Okay, it's a big swamp of Métis. Religion, we'll talk about religion because here it has to do with religion also. The Métis are basically Hindus, and some few of them are Muslims. But all Christians, Nagas and Kukizos, they are all Christians. The hill tribes on the northern side and the southern side, they are all both Christians. Now, you have come with the term Kukizo. Kukizo is a nomenclature that has come up during this trouble period, the recent 3rd May 2023. Cookies and Zo or Mizo, which will try to explain to you, is that cookies is the name was the name given by the British when they came to this part of the country. Okay, so this I belong to Mizo, and there is cookie also. So cookie and Mizos, they're very what you call very confusing and overlapping each other. So in fact, the name was given by Britishers. So we call ourselves Mizo. Mi means people, Mizo means hills. So Changtesap is a Mizo. That means he is a person from the hills. Okay. But then the cookies now, they among the cookies over the years, there are some people who call themselves strictly cookies. Okay, we were called cookies by the Britishers, but we don't call ourselves cookie anymore. We call ourselves Mizos. And in spite of that, there are some section of the Zo ethnic people who call themselves cookies, right? So cookies and Mizos, we are of the same people called nomenclatures given by one cookie from outsider by the Britishers and Mizo by ourselves. Okay, so when we talk about in Manipur, we have to remember all the time there are three major tribes that these tribes were fighting each other over the years. Okay, Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
if
sir.
you put yourself in a video, it will be better. Can we not have in a system in which I can see the other two also?
So there is, I think you will
There
have to change it
is.
on your device.
Yeah, it's
On the top corner,
open-ended.
on
Okay,
the top
okay,
corner.
okay. Now I got it. Okay, Akiko, Durs, and Atarf. Right,
Yes.
right. Now, what is interesting now is that land problem was there because Manipur has a special provision under Indian Constitution that is 371C. Mizoram is 371G, Nagaland is 371A. So Manipur has 371C under which they have one land system in which the tribal land cannot be purchased or inhabited by a non-tribal. That is, even Meiteis who are Manipuris. The majority Manipuris cannot have land in the northern hill areas of Nagas and southern hill areas of Kuki or Kukizo. So I think it's better this time when we talk over each other, let's use the word Kuki, okay? Which will include for this purpose all the Mizos, all the Mars, all the Paites, all the Zomis to be addressed under Kuki, right? So I think that's my first interjection. I think I made myself clear. Whenever you talk about Manipur, you have to understand that there are three big tribes. The majority is in the middle. 60% of the total population occupies only 10% of the land. It's like a football stadium. The center part is occupied by the Métis, and the northern hills and the southern hills of the stadium is occupied by northern side by the Nagas and southern side by the Kukis. And Mizoram is on the southern side. So you will understand that as much as Nagas have influence over the Nagas in Manipur, we Mizo also have influence over the Kuki-Zo people from Mizoram. Okay, so let's go ahead. What is the next question?
Okay, so sir, the next question is that what do you know about the Nagas' role and how are they involved in this crisis or a beef between Meitei and Kukizos?
Right. I'll tell you. Then first of all, let's go back. See, as I have explained to you, long time back in the 90s, early 90s, even Nagas and Kukis fight each other. Hmm. And among the cookies and the Zos also fight each other. But this time around, 3rd May 2023, there was what you call all tribal association, United Association, something like that. So they were the one who were fighting against the Métis trying to become a tribal. Basically, to also enable themselves to avail tribal quotas, ST quotas in the government services, and also to have the eligibility to purchase or occupy the land in the hill areas. At that time, Nagas were also there in the beginning. But as time goes on, Nagas played very safe. They're the what I should say, the leaders. The leaders, the Naga leaders are cooler than the Kuki-Zo leaders because they belong to the northern side. Okay, they belong to the northern side, and Nagaland was keeping quiet. Nagaland leaders, government of Nagaland or the political leaders did not intervene. But
Yes.
these Kuki-Zo people started coming towards Mizoram. So they are our brothers. They are brothers, let's say cousins. They are like their cousins. So when the cousin is in problem, we Mizos in Mizoram tend to, emotionally involve ourselves in that movement.
Yeah.
So the Nagas, in due course of time, they have decided not to intervene much. So it had become later on, it has become a Meitei versus cookies. Okay, when I say cookies, let us assume that we also include all the ethnic tribes of Zo. So is Kuki Zo or Kuki is same. Now, the Nagas, they have been keeping quiet. And also you have to understand the Métis and the Nagas are more closely, ethnically, culturally, otherwise they're closer. So the Métis and Mizos, we never had any problem, but we are not very close culturally. We're not very close language, culture. and you can differentiate each other, Mizos and cookies and Meiteis by looking the faces and the way they talk and the pronunciation also. You can, the easiest way to identify who is who from Northeast is that you ask them, you talk to them, their actions, typical action will come out, and if you're closely observing that, then you'll find that okay, this is Naga, this is a Mizo. Like Akiko will have a typical, Mizo kind of driven action. Okay. Now the Nagas they have played very safe. I'll tell you, Nagas they have played very safe. So what they do is that they're now observers. Okay. Now they're observers because I'll go back to Nagaland first. The Naga movement, which is the oldest movement in the Northeast, maybe in Asia also, in the early 1950s, there was this what you call NSCN, Nagaland Socialist Council, National Socialist Council of Nagaland, NSCN. The IM faction, the biggest faction, is dominated by the Nagas in Manipur. Okay. Nagas in Manipur only. So they, oh, hello.
It's okay, sir. Nothing. Yeah. Please continue.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So what happened is that now the Nagas and Cookies started fighting each other again. So it's not only Mete Cookies. Okay. It is also something like Nagas and Cookies are fighting now. So that is the role of Nagas. How they have played, why they did like that, they have more political vision, more political interest in the near future.
Understood, sir. Thank you.
And okay, sir.
If it is not clear to you, you can disrupt me while I'm speaking also, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. So we'd like to ask you about what you know about the Meite's point of view.
Meiteis, see, I'll tell you, I have been to Manipur on and off. I was the officer in charge in the Ministry of Mines in Guwahati from 2002 to 2010. So I used to often go to Imphal, Nagaland, all these places. The Meiteis basically, they are feeling suffocated in the valley. Their population grows. The Nagas and the Kukis can settle down in Meitei Valley. There are plenty of them. And at the same time, the Nagas and the the Kukis, are tribals, scheduled tribes. So they get their own big chunk of land surrounding the valley. That's one point, the land problem. And another problem many people don't see is that most of the powerful posts powerful posts in the state government are dominated by the Nagas and the Kukis, the police officers, the IAS, the important posts under which scheduled tribe can, apply for the seats, special seats. These are all captured by Nagas and Kukis. Once you get into a job through your ST quotas, nobody cares about whether you're really ST or unreserved general in service. So I feel that the Meiteis feel suffocated, and then since it is very, as I've explained to you before, 10% of the land in the Imphal Valley is too small for them now. So they wanted to go to other places. I have seen in Churachandpur, the Cookies main headquarters, when I used to visit in 2017, 18, no, 2008, 9, 10, like I was a controller of mines in Guwahati. I had gone to the Ukhrul area, Ukhrul district of Manipur, which was dominated by the Nagas. They were all living very peacefully. There was no problem. Now it's very difficult to understand exactly they've been living together so nice, because I know there was one Meitei mining engineer. I had gone to his place in Imphal, Lamphel area. he has let out his houses to Naga and Mizos. Okay, so as such, for survival for daily on a daily basis, there was not much problem. This problem has been created, I think, because of some local politicians who have their own invested interests. So Métis basically feel suffocated, and when they look around in the state of the coal, the state of their own, it was dominated in the administrative lineup and in the government side by mostly by these tribal people. So naturally, the tribals are the lesser in population, occupying much bigger areas, and at the same time dominating them in their administrative, in their offices. I think this was the Métis, surging point of boiling point. That's the
Mhm.
thing. Otherwise, I think there was
Yes.
no problem basically.
Sir, our fourth
There,
member has also joined. Their class got ended early, so they're also here now.
no
So,
problem.
okay.
Most welcome. Nida, no Nida.
Good morning, sir. Sorry, I
Good
joined
morning,
late.
Nida. No problem, no problem. We have just started. Just started.
All
Yes.
right.
So, sir, now
Okay, next.
one question we wanted to ask was, what are the misconceptions about the issue? Like, it's not discussed very often, but when it is, what do people get wrong about it?
Excuse me. Just a minute.
Yes.
Arthur, repeat your question once again.
Can you tell us what are the misconceptions about the whole conflict in Manipur? Like, a lot of people don't talk about it, but when they do, what is something they get wrong always? What is something they
See,
don't know?
in its misconception comes only when you are not uh, going deep enough, in the subject. People like you guys from Delhi, Gurgaon, or say even from Guwahati, when they don't go to the real playground, when they don't enter the playground, it's easy to talk. They say no, 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 they should not fight. It's ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए, वो सब ऐसे करना चाहिए था, ये नहीं करना चाहिए था. It's very easy. But what happened, as I said, these Nagas, Kukis, and Meiteis, they've been living together for a very long time. Now the vested politician who have their own personal interest, when elections are coming around, it depends upon the votes. Now you have to remember, in an assembly of 60 MLS, cookies are no Metis are having 40 MLS, Nagas 10, cookies 10, right? So what I feel is that the Meiteis felt that they were no more controlling the whole government, in spite of the fact that they're in majority. And at the same time, the Meiteis also feel that the population, especially the Kukizo, the population was growing very fast, very fast, and you have to. Just a minute, huh? No problem. So I'm on my veranda, okay. I'm not sitting inside. So what happened is that the Métis feel that the population of cookies have been growing very fast, faster than normal, normal whatever generation like offspring type of thing. So the Métis feel that the cookies Zoe population have increased because of the infiltration from Myanmar. So Myanmar is a neighboring country again. The Myanmar neighboring side is Sagain and the Chin state that is fully dominated again by the Kukizo, or what I call the Mizo or Chin there in Myanmar. So the border is very porous. People can just go and come out. There is no requirement of any formal passport visa type. So they can come 40 kilometers inside to India, and then the Indian side, the Kukis and the Mizos also, we can go to Myanmar 40 kilometers inside. That is what you call a free zone, okay? So the medias have suspected that because of this problem, or say outside people also suspect that because of this problem, the population has increased. So very soon, the medias will be dominated and flushed out by this Kukizo, which to some extent looks okay also. At the same time, the hillside that is bordering to Myanmar, the hillside bordering to Myanmar, there we find poppy cultivations, the heroine, okay? The drug trafficking also is playing some kind of a suspicion, a full play. Okay, so it becomes a cockroach and becomes a cockroach there also. So what happened is that I do understand is that there are some apprehensions that the thing, but the people in large, the civil society in large, they don't hate each other. It is the political leader that try to thrive and achieve their personal vested interest in the whole process. That is what I feel. So I think misconception is there as long as you don't go deep into the problem.
Okay, sir.
There's ask something more. Ask,
Sir, I have a question.
okay, neither ask.
So, what are the biggest impacts that the communities, all three of them, are facing because of this conflict?
That is very important. What happened? I'll tell you. The funniest thing is that Métis say they welcome Nagas and Mizos in the valley.
Hmm.
Hmm. But now, after all these things, there is a mistrust. If you happen to see, I last night I sent Akiko's mother's thing. I sent my interview to the PP show, the PP Chongloi show, in which I have explained everything political side. Okay, is that the main impact now is that there is growing mistrust now. People who have been living for years, for decades, for centuries perhaps, has started thinking that, oh, we are enemies. Okay, so we cannot live. I cannot breathe with the mated the same air, something like that. So these are basically a political agenda, a dirty political agenda, which people have started, developing for the sake of believing that they'll be benefited out of this. So the main problem here, which I feel, is that there is a growing mistrust between different communities. At NIDA, we have explained before you joined that there are Nagas on the northern side. Southern side, there
Yeah.
are Cookies or Zos. So, in fact, these three tribes were living peacefully before. Now,
Hmm.
because of this agitation that has come, these people are keeping each other with a very, very suspicious eyes. Their movement, they talk, the people try to think about, forget about positive approach. People started thinking to take, started taking the speeches of other community in a very negative way. Now they've started killing each other, the religious leaders. Okay, these
Yeah.
cookies church leaders were not killed by Metis; they were killed by Nagas. So in the beginning, it was the hill tribes versus the plain Meitei. Now it has become the Meitei versus it was in between between the Meitei versus the Cookies. Now it has become Cookies versus Nagas. Okay, so this
Hmm.
triangular fight, the gear shifted. The gear shifted from one corner to the other corner. So in the process, you will find that there is no political agenda. Practically no political agenda. It is only the political leaders. Like say, for example, I just tell you frankly, when somebody from Kuki community called me, say in my interview also, if you have time, you can see the interview. There I have said the Kuki leaders, the Zo Kuki leaders, 10 MLS. Okay. They said
Hmm.
that we cannot be under the Manipur government anymore. That was way back in 3rd May 2023. So these Kukizo MLS, if they're really serious, not they're really serious that they will not be within Manipur, they should resign from MLS. But they have not resigned. 3 years gone. People are suffering. People are killing each other. The political leaders are not resigning. That means people, the public, innocent public people, that the poison has been given by the politicians for their own interests, which ultimately the civil people suffers. If I have been telling my cookie friends also, if your movement is really serious, why don't your MLS resign? Now, among the MLS, they are fighting to get a plum posting within the Manipur government. Even today, people are shouting in the streets that we are no more comfortable to live with Meiteis in Manipur, so we want to separate our administration. But what about the MLS, the public leaders? So in the process, you'll find that there is no proper political vision. There's no political movement. Okay, I'm sorry to say that to the young minds, but that is what is happening. Like we have seen the cockroach Janata Party movement in the Jantar Mantar. Ultimately, everything boils down to politics. Politics is what? It's about your education. It's about your future. Okay, it's not about party winning an election alone. It's actually politics is all about development, all basic infrastructure, right? So Nida, I am afraid if I can, if I'm complete about that, your questions, answering your questions,
Yeah, no, you answered it perfectly. Thank you.
right? No? Okay.
So before we go, before we go to the next question, this meeting
Yeah.
may end automatically. It has a time limit on it. So we'll send you a new link if it just ends on its own, if we get disconnected.
Okay. See, yeah, Akiko mother has talked to me.
Mm.
I assure her that I'll spare my time because basically I'm not a political scientist. I'm not a by profession. I'm mining engineer. Okay, I did my BTech mining engineering from IIT Dhanbad. Okay, after that I did my graduation in law LLB. So after retirement from central government, I'm a practicing lawyer now. So I'm not very deep into that, but I have an emotional attachment to this problem as a hill tribe and a neighboring house. Okay, so I spare my time for you today. Today being Saturday, so I skip my
Mm.
morning bazaar, sabji bazaar. Okay, then I just said, okay, let
Thank you
me
so much,
talk
sir.
with
Yes,
these
sir. Thank
guys
you
from
so
young,
much.
yeah, young
Thank you.
minds from Guragaon. Okay,
So
बोलिए ना.
if this,
Okay?
yes, sir, if this meeting ends, we'll send you a new link to join on your own, sir.
No
Uh,
problem. I'm
yes.
there for you. I'm there for you today. Mm.
So, sir, our
बोलो.
next question is, so now because we know that there is no trust left between them, there is mistrust, as you said, growing. So why is
Yes,
it
yes, yes.
difficult to why is it difficult to rebuild the trust? Why can't it? What will it take to rebuild the trust?
I will try to explain to you why Narendra Modi ji, why the Prime Minister have not visited in Manipur. This is because the central government understands that there is no the agitators, the movement leaders, the public, they are not serious. Okay, I don't know why. See, it looks as if to me now that people are passing their time by killing each other. There is no logical aim whether the Kukis or the Nagas really wanted to be outside Manipur is not clear. In fact, I'm very doubtful about that. The Nagas in Manipur, they are Tangkhul Nagas. Tangkhul Nagas are not really accepted by the Nagas of Nagaland. Okay, so the cookies, as much as they are there now, they might call Kukizo or whatever it is, but they are the Mizos ultimately who call themselves not Mizo but cookies. So we have some reservation for them also. Okay. So suppose as per the demand, if I take out some portion in the southern part, 2, 3 districts of the cookie zoo, will they survive? I don't think they'll really survive. Under Article 3 of our constitution, the state boundary can be changed, can demarcated, enlarged, reduced, joined together, and all. That's the political science part of it. But why these things have not been settled? The movement itself is not serious, and the people in the state government and the central government are not serious about it. So really, if there's an a turf, if you are fighting for an issue, if you really want to settle down the issue, then you must talk to each other. Now Nagas, Metis, Kukis, they don't talk to each other. Okay. So if you don't want to talk to each other, forget about the settlement. That means you are enjoying your fighting. Somehow you are enjoying your fighting. Okay. So it's very difficult for the state government, also for the central government to take them very seriously. But God, by God's grace, I hope they'll come to the proper senses, fighting each other, killing each other, kidnapping each other, it's not
Let's hope
romantic.
that stops.
Yeah, it's not positive. Ultimately, they'll realize, but we tribals people take sometimes, some lot of time to understand what is the practicality of the situation. I think that's the only thing. That is the reason why Modi did not go there. Modi will go to places which he finds that these are serious problem. Central don't see Manipur problem as a serious problem because the people who are fighting each other, they are not ready to talk to each other. They have not been facing each other, I understand. Okay, they're trying to plead to the state government, to the central government. No, it's not our problem. The Métis people are there first. Now the Kukis and the Nagas said no. Now the Kukis said no. They kill our pastors first. So we kill their pastors. Is this the way? Is this the way to go ahead? We Mizos, the neighboring state. I'll take advantage of this. When I went to UPSC interview, okay, way back in 1997. The UPSC, the interview board chairman asked me, Mr. Changte, you tell me whether you tell me why Mizoram is an island of peace. Why in Mizoram people don't fight? I told that chairman, sir, Mizo people are very romantic. Okay, we don't want to fight. We want to enjoy our life. Fighting doesn't take us anywhere. So then what happened to Manipur, Nagaland and all? Then I told him, sir, Manipur terrorism, Manipur underground movement is not political. It's a small industry.